Sometimes I want to make this look like a news anchor when I start. Of course, I'm recording, by the way. But instead, I start with bob my head because that's what everybody wants to see. And it's meal plan time. Guess who's here? With his cup of tea that apparently he's going to slurp behind my head. I was kind enough to keep mine down here. Okay, guys, I love my husband, but okay. So it's late. All of the kids are in bed, and we've actually.
Late be 9 o'clock.
We're so old. Don't ruin my time. Okay, you guys are probably not watching this at 9 o'clock, although somebody might be. It's really hard to say. Anyhow, meal planning. That's what we're here for. Hopefully you watched yesterday's grocery haul that I put up every Monday. And then I've started doing these meal planning videos every Tuesday to coordinate so you can see how we utilize the groceries that we bought and how things played out last week and what we're doing for this week and how it all coordinates together. Again, as always, I've got my handy dandy notebook with everything in. On average, each page contains 3 weeks. Each week, I only write down 6 meals typically. Occasionally a 7th one will get written in. The reason being, most weeks, there's at least one day or night where we're just super busy and on the go. I'm not necessarily gonna have time to make something. So I don't write anything down, and we either go with leftovers, and that's the other thing is there's usually a lot of leftovers throughout the week that just kind of drag on. I don't have time or something changes, but I do leave space to write something in because occasionally a 7th meal does happen. Usually I will try to write in there if we did that. And I do make other random meals. And I only write down 1 meal a day, and that's because breakfast is really a free-for-all around here. It's 1 meal. It's not super structured. I know what the kids typically like. Some kids want to eat as soon as they get up. Some kids, they want to wait. We just kind of go with it. Lunch, that's hit or miss. Sometimes the things from the meal plan will get made during lunch. Usually lunch, however, is those leftovers I was mentioning and some of the convenience foods that you will see us buy from time to time. We don't keep a super large amount on hand. But also those 2 fryer chickens that we buy, we do a lot of chicken sandwiches or salads, things that, again, everybody can kind of pick and choose what they want, but we go with what we have on hand. And then dinner is our meal plan. Like I said, though, sometimes lunch works in there. Okay, so now that I'm a couple minutes in already, let me run through this really quick. So again, you'll see that we're 3 weeks there. This was last week. You can see that everything but the BLT sandwiches got made. That is not because we just didn't make them. It's actually because we ran out of tomatoes before we got to them. And we have a couple kids who really like tomatoes, so BLTs without them was a travesty. So I said, you know what, the bacon's gonna keep in the fridge. So we picked up more tomatoes and bumped that down to this week. Now you're also gonna see a couple other things here. So first of all, you've got the spicy pulled pork did get crossed off last week because we could not get the pork. It didn't happen. So that actually got bumped, not this coming week, but the following week. So you're not going to see that this week either. So there was that. There was the grilled cheese, lentil and rice tacos, the BLTs, baked or grilled chicken, and Little Caesars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's what was there. Now you're going to see Little Caesars. I put ×2. That's because we actually had it twice. And then the chili is also written down. So technically there's 8 meals there. Why are there 8 meals? Well, because I ended up making a full meal for lunch one day and other dinners happened. The Little Caesars come from our grocery budget. So I make sure to include those on here. And the kids were actually pretty tickled about having that again since it's been a while. But also, and I've mentioned this in other videos, but I don't think meal planning videos I have yet. We are technically a host family for Bethany Christian Services, their Safe Families program, which is for families in crisis. And with that, we host the children that need a place to stay temporarily. Because of our family size, We are actually limited to 10 days at a time though. It's a weird state rule. I don't know. We're working on some other things with that though, to see if there's a way around some of that. But because of a placement, I actually had to make some extra meals. And that's also why Little Caesars happened twice, because things just got a little crazy. Had a lot of appointments we had to deal with and everything there. So 8 meals. BLTs didn't get made because of no tomatoes. That was seriously it. Okay, which actually means 7 meals total got made, which also for anybody who's been following, that's a miracle in itself, because normally out of the 6, there's still 1 that's always left over. So moving on this week, you guys are gonna see here, I've got the basil pesto pasta that I made a week ago. That was a huge hit. We're gonna go ahead and use some of the chicken that comes from the Instant Pot that we make and put in there this time rather than just the pasta, because we all agreed it could use some chicken. And I might even add in some peas as well, because it sounds good. I don't know, we'll see on that. Originally I was going to make a pasta with vodka sauce. That is one of those Pioneer Woman recipes. I was super excited about that, but the truth was, I know everybody likes the basil pesto. I only had to get the 3 cartons of basil, which ended up costing $6. We did have to get the heavy cream again, which I think I was gonna have to get for something else anyhow. So everything else we had on hand, the pine nuts, because I had accidentally bought too much last time, the pasta, all of that we've got. So it was gonna be $6 for that. I honestly, guys, we don't buy a whole lot of alcohol. I don't know what vodka runs. I'm sure I could buy a really cheap one. For the amount I needed, I don't know what it would have cost. I didn't want to buy the cheapest. It was going to taste horrible, so I would have bought something decent. And honestly, just buying the basil just sounded safer because it was cheaper and I knew everybody liked it. So that's why we went ahead and we just bumped it with what pasta we have left. Now this is going to be our last pasta meal for a little while until I order more of the Tinkyata pasta off of Amazon, because that's where I get that due to price. Unless I catch it on sale somewhere around here, but the stores keep rotating what they do and don't have. Shepherd's pie made the list again because that ended up being a huge hit. So again, we bought more peas, which they didn't just work as an ice pack this time. So we bought more peas in that grocery haul. We also have the Al Pastor, which, now that I'm looking at it, guys, I gotta cross that off. Not because we're not having it, but because we ate it today. So that's already been made. Actually, we ate it yesterday and we had the leftovers again today because it makes quite a bit. Seriously, guys, if you ever get that and try it, it's amazing how many people it feeds when you do the rice method that we use. So pigs in a blanket. This is partially because of the extra kiddo that we've got around. I'm pretty sure that's a meal that's going to be a hit. And while we're encouraging some really good eating, you know, it's not always what other kids are used to. So we do try to make some exceptions and things that we know our kids like too. So like getting Little Caesars twice in a week, not something we typically do, but if it helps another child feel more comfortable, it's what we will do. Here's those BLT sandwiches. So we are gonna go ahead and have those weeks. Sean got a big case of Roma tomatoes. I shouldn't say big case, but a Sam's Club size one. And then the last one, egg sandwiches. Okay, now this is gonna sound a little funny because some people are aware of our family's food allergies. Our youngest daughter, who is 5, has a serious egg allergy. So obviously this is not a meal that she can eat. But we have several other kids who really do like eggs. Now, our 14-year-old also does not eat eggs. We question if there isn't a mild allergy or just a sensitivity. But she has, since she was tiny, has had no interest in eggs because she got really sick after eating them a couple times. Just did not make her feel well. So we don't force that on anybody. So when I make egg sandwiches for everybody, it's going to be an optional night. That meal will be anybody who wants them, we'll make them because everybody else seems to be enjoying eggs lately. I know Sean would appreciate that. We haven't done egg sandwiches in a really long time. I can't eat them either. I will end up with an instant migraine if I do have that. But I can make them for everybody else, and the 2 girls who won't or can't eat them and myself will have a different kind of sandwich, which is actually really okay because that 5-year-old has discovered she has a serious love for cashew butter and grape jelly. So it'll probably make her day to know that she gets a special sandwich. and everybody else gets the egg sandwiches that she can't have. So that's what we do there. And since her egg allergy is purely ingestion, it means that we just can't feed it to her. Be careful she doesn't get any, but we can still have that in the house. It's unlike her and her brother's peanut allergy that's contact sensitive, so even the slightest residue, and they both have a serious reaction. So we have to be really careful with that. There's a little delving into our serious food allergies that we deal with too, and also what drives some of our meal planning. So between allergies and working with other kiddos and things that they can eat, that's how it looks. So that is our meal plan for this week. I've got the 6 things written down. As of right now, I don't think there's anything on here that's not going to be made, but we'll have to wait and see how the week plays out. I am super excited. I actually have 6 items written on for next week. We'll see if all 6 go ahead and stay there or not. Next week's going to be slightly different because it's kind of like a bonus week for us since paychecks run a little differently in January. We will have a little bit extra, and so I think I'm going to be able to stretch and maybe allow myself to go over budget just slightly to get some extra meat to do a couple extra fun recipes with. So otherwise I'm going to have to rewrite that. We'll see what happens. Anyhow, there it is. That's our meal plan for this week. I don't even know. I think it's the 28th when you're watching this. So the last couple days of January, first couple days of February. I'm going to have to try and keep in mind that we have Valentine's Day coming up, and if we're going to do anything extra for that, I don't usually, but we'll see if I'm going to, any baking with the kids or anything, and write that into the meal plan. That's something for you to keep in mind too if you are trying to get into the role of this. You know, we got to look forward to those dates and see what's going to happen. I do also know that I believe it's that following week, we are going to have some company. Our best friends who have a family the exact same size as our family. So we doubled the size of our household for a couple days when they're here, and it is absolutely awesome. Completely love it. There's a couple older videos of them when they were here before, from about a year ago. And so it is absolutely wonderful. But there it is. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this, that you're getting something out of it. If so, please leave that in the comment section down below. Or if you've got any questions about how I do this or why I do things a certain way I do, feel free to ask. I will answer anything that's respectful. In the meantime, I hope that you're having a blessed day. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything coming up next. And I will see you in the next one.